Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down why I believe it is a smart decision to stay away from Victor Wembanyama sports cards. I know there's a lot of hype of him being one of the faces of our generation, one of the best basketball players of all time, but I'm going to be breaking this down from an economical sense and why I believe it is best to stay away from Victor Wembanyama sports cards right now. All right, guys, so we've pulled up Alt, and we're going to be going through some data on Victor Wembanyama sports cards and why I believe it is crucial to stay away, at least right now. And if you are going to invest, I would recommend a couple cards that I believe would hold up a lot better than others. So the first major reason, of course, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I think everyone is aware to some extent. But Victor Wembanyama is PSA's most graded athlete right now. There were about close to 50,000 cards graded in May alone, and there's just so many cards and products getting ripped, and sports cards in general. The pop counts continue to increase year by year because demand continues to meet all of that supply, and I just think companies in general are just grading a lot more, and a lot of them are grading PSA 10s. I believe there's around a 60% rate of that are grading PSA 10s. So even if you get the highest grade, it's not like you're cutting down into that rarity by quite a lot. If you look at most of Victor Wembanyama's most popular cards, you can see the PSA 10, pop count number is usually going to be higher than the PSA 9 and PSA 8 pop count numbers. You can see with this Optic rookie, for example, this card is 2,900 PSA 10s and 2,850 PSA 9s. So we're seeing a lot more cards grading very, very well for Victor Wembanyama, of course, because products are new, products are fresh, and these companies are doing a better job with keeping the cards in great condition, besides, of course, Kaboom, that have them totally off-centered, but that's a separate story. So if we look through, Victor Wembanyama's most, sought-after cards, for example, of course, you can look at, some of his most quote-unquote rare cards. If you look at, for example, his Prism Blue or his Prism Red, White, Blue is at a pretty decent price point, not too expensive. But if you look at just the sheer number of cards right now that are getting graded from Wembanyama, essentially, if the pop count's going up by 10% month over month, you've got to see demand go up by 10% month over month for cards to even stay the same price. In addition to that, this year for Prism, I believe, you definitely want to fact check me on this, but I believe there were 63 different parallels for Prism basketball. If you go back to 2012 during the start of Prism basketball, there were 3 different parallels. So when you have 20 times the amount of parallels for a card, for a Prism set, you're going to have, even the numbered cards are not going to be as rare as they may seem. You may see a card is out of 199. You may see a card is out of 25, but the amount of parallels that are coming out that are numbered, do not make these cards as rare as a lot of people think. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, is you have so many more parallels. If there was a silver, a green, and a gold, and a black Prism, okay, now there could be solidified demand on those 4 cards. But when you have, between just Prism, there's over 60 parallels, let alone, you got all the other products. You got Optic, you got Select, you got all these different products. That's just to name a couple. But you got so many different products that, you've got to see that demand go across all those products and increase on all of them, which is just not really feasible based off where the sports card market is right now. If the market grows to a different level like we saw in 2020, and there's so many new people getting in, then at that point you could say, okay, I think the demand can meet the supply. But where the sports card market currently sits, there has to be a massive influx in demand, and I don't think it's even possible by the numbers for some of these cards to stay the same price or even go up. And if we look at, for example, some of Victor Wembanyama's most important cards, you could just look at a Prism Silver, for example. We could compare the prices as well, which I think is another problem. If you look at Victor Wembanyama's PSA 10 Prism, this is a pop almost 4,000 already, and it's just the first year of them coming out. Could you imagine 10 years down the line what the pop count's going to be? You could see that this is one of Victor Wembanyama's most important cards out of so many cards, and this is around an $800 card. A lot of people like to compare him to other great big men. Of course, he could have a better career than Shaq. He could have a worse career than Shaq. That's besides the point. But if you just want to get an idea of where Shaq's prices are compared to Wembanyama, which down the line, Wembanyama's PSA 10 is going to be well above where Shaq's PSA 10 pop count is. This right here is a $100 card. So for Shaquille O'Neal, you got to pop $5,000 for his Topps rookie card in a PSA 10. This is a $90 card to a $100 card. And if you look at Wembanyama, it's $800. And down the line, it's going to have a much greater population count than Shaquille O'Neal. So that just kind of sort of hopefully is an alarming stat that gets a lot of, and on top of that, of course, Victor Wembanyama has many more parallels than Shaquille O'Neal does. If you're investing in a Shaq card, you don't have as many options as, if you're investing in a Victor Wembanyama card. So that's another thing that really concerns me. It's like he's already priced in for greatness. And you could argue he's priced in for more than greatness. He's priced in to be, even if he's the best player of all time, I don't know if his prices could stay the same. Would his prices down the line for a card that's probably less important relative to all the cards he has out there, would a card of his be 8 times the price of Shaquille O'Neal, even if he's the best player of all time and the most collectible player of all time? I just don't see it. So I think a lot of his greatness is priced in. I'm not saying it's not bad to hold his or to flip his cards and to try to make some money off the hype. But if you're holding his cards for the long term, you could look at some of Shaquille O'Neal's most important rookie cards and most rare rookie cards. For example, his Topps Gold. This is a pop under 1,000. It's a pop 800. One of Shaquille O'Neal's prime rookie cards. There's not many other Shaquille O'Neal rookie cards that are as investable. And that right there is about the price of a base, ordinary, Victor Wembanyama Prism Silver that has 4x the pop count. So I just personally don't see how the numbers could work unless the sports card market absolutely blows up and goes to different levels and you have 10 times the amount of collectors. Then maybe you could soak up all that supply. But I just don't see it happening unless some massive things change. And if those massive things change and the sports card market gets 10 times more popular, then you're going to look and be like, well, if you invested in Michael Jordan or LeBron James or any of these other players like Shaquille O'Neal, their prices would have probably gone up much higher percentage than Victor Wembanyama. Now, of course, I don't want to create this video to just freak people out and get them to panic sell their Victor Wembanyama cards. I just personally, I just want to share with you guys what I'm thinking, and hopefully some of you guys that would have fallen into making that mistake, hopefully you guys can watch this video and have some more data at the very least. I'm not saying not to buy them, but this is the data that I think is very crucial to look at before you buy them, because a lot of these prices just seem so baked in. If you look at, for example, like one of his most rare cards, you can try to find, his numbered cards, his blue prism out of 199. This card's around a $5,000 card. And if you look at Shaquille O'Neal or any all-time great, even Michael Jordan, his, he only really has a couple investable cards. Obviously, his 1986 Fleer is the most iconic of them. You can get a pretty high-graded copy of that for around $5,000. And that's the greatest player of all time, and by most people's standards, and one of the most iconic cards of all time, and one of the few rookie cards, that he has. And if you compare that to the, hundreds of investable rookie cards that Victor Wembanyama has, and just one of those 100 is going for the same price as one of Michael Jordan's 3 most important rookie cards. In fact, his most important rookie card. It's just, I don't see it personally working out in the long run. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, this is just one personal opinion. I know there's so many people out there who are still buying into Wembanyama and believe in his future. And I personally love the kid. I believe in his future. I just don't believe in the future of his sports card prices based off where they currently are. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I shouldn't say enjoyed. If you guys learned something from the video, because it's not the most fun topic for me to make a video about, but it's a topic that I feel is necessary, and I would feel bad if people were buying in without knowing these things. So I just hope you guys enjoyed. And other than that, I'm out. Peace.